Thank you. Okay, well, welcome everybody to the Southwest Value Maker Networking meeting. Megan's asked me to chair. I'm not Linda Franklin per the agenda. I'm Amy Jones and I'm at Royal Cornwall Hospital Trust. I've got a couple of colleagues here today, but as with a lot of people, I think they're quite pushed with some deadlines for reporting. So I've managed to convince them to still come because the 12:40, which is what it is to be a value maker, was my slot when I spoke to Megan and a few colleagues. We were talking about that we actually asked that question here, and we met as a group. What is a value maker, and how can we answer that question and articulate it in real life to our colleagues to try and grow the network and add some value. So we met as a small group, and one of my colleagues who's on this call, Michelle, had a really great example of what a value maker meant to her. So Michelle, did you want to basically repeat what you said to me?
Sorry, I didn't realise I was on mute.
Sorry, just before you start, I've just realised I didn't do like introductions or anything. So if you speak, perhaps just give a brief intro of who you are.
Okay, I'm Michelle Callow. I'm a Deputy Finance Manager in the income section. Been in the NHS about 8 and a bit years now at the Trust, so been through a lot of change and different things during that time. With all the different funding arrangements and NHS England change things every year, the commissioning framework keeps changing. So it's been quite challenging for us to keep up with interpreting all the new rules, and each year it's different. 4 different national tariffs last year issued, that kind of thing. So and I guess my sort of main example really is to do with high cost drugs, as we deal with the reclaiming of income, the Cancer Drug Fund and the other high cost drugs. And some of the processes were changed by Cancer Drug Fund national team, and we really just didn't know where to start with it really, and also being down where we are in Cornwall, we're kind of right down the end, feels a bit out on a limb at times, that we don't have loads of different other trusts and providers around us to sort of network particularly with. So that's why the Value Maker Network was really handy. I think as Josh Pendleton, I can't remember what his surname, from Gloucester, put me in touch with a lady in his team. That was my first sort of reaching out to other places, and she was really helpful, a real sort of expert on the processes, so that really helped sort of get some input about how to actually tackle all these different things. And then also we've been reaching out to colleagues, Plymouth Trust as well. Someone there's been really helpful with a lot of these new processes, just to kind of stop us having to reinvent the wheel, really. And actually we're going to go and visit Plymouth at the end of September, just to see. I mean, the team structures don't line up to us. I know every place has got different structures in how they work, but we're going to try and get some information about how they do things in terms of income and contracting, and I think that will be really useful as well. But basically, with our specific example, Cancer Drug Fund were withholding several £1 million worth of funding because our processes wasn't what they wanted it to be in terms of the pricing. And as a result of sort of networking and getting information from other places and implementing new processes, we then actually completely minimised our financial risk and essentially got paid for every penny we should. So we went sort of several million of risk to essentially none. So so that's been the good thing, and it's nice just to reach out and talk to other people and realise you're not alone in your struggles. Actually, it's like a therapy session.
Yeah, I think like what I get from that kind of example as well is that you probably would have got that money anyway, but you use the net to perhaps accelerate it and not be quite alone. And add value like internally within the process. Thanks, Michelle. If you do need to, feel free to stay, but if you do need to shoot off, I really appreciate you coming along and sharing your example. And if anyone has questions for Michelle, they can follow up with her. I'm sure you won't mind.
No, not at all.
We also have a couple of other colleagues that have some examples of what a value maker meant to them. Unfortunately, they couldn't come because they're either on annual leave or like a study course, but I thought it would be useful if I sort of share their words with you. So one of my colleagues, Tamsin White, is a finance manager at the NHS Cornwall and Isles of Scilly ICB board, and she summarised within the team the following. So, to be honest, I was quite pleased to be signing up to something that doesn't require much involvement or active engagement, but has actually turned in to be a really beneficial network and resource toolkit. Our Value Maker meetings are informal meeting place where we can take some time to reflect on areas we might have been involved in since the last meeting, such as being part of Inspiring the Futures Network, where you have the opportunity to be invited to school assemblies or career days and engage with school children of various ages about career in finance. And this is one of the examples that I have been involved in, which is completely different work, but at the same time actively promoting the NHS and finance. That was from Tamsin. And then one of our other colleagues, Wyoming, is an assistant financial accountant here with me at Royal Cornwall Hospitals, and she put what a value maker means to her is access to training courses. Since becoming a value maker, I've had that access of applying to multiple training courses to help advance my knowledge towards my career. I'm able to send these courses on to my colleagues, so if they're interested in also signing up alongside me. Working alongside other finance departments in Cornwall, a few of my colleagues and I have linked up with other organisations such as within our system, such as Cornwall Foundation Trust and the ICB, to create an interactive news board for our finance departments. This included sharing our ideas and discussing ways of communicating across the trust. The Value Maker Network helped me in bringing forward and deciding the format for the news board from other people's experience of delivering a similar news board within their organisational system. Flexibility. The Value Maker Network has the option for you to be as flexible as you would like. If you find you have a busy schedule and don't have the time to engage with the network, there's no pressure to, but it's always there for you to use, and is a great benefit of joining the network as you can fit around your workload, studies, whilst being able to be involved in the communications from email threads, newsletters and bulletins. So that was we've obviously heard from Michelle, and then that was Tamsin and Wyoming. We have other colleagues that are obviously value makers and doing things, but for us, where we were promoting the Value Maker Network, it was important for me to not just pull off the Value Maker Network, somebody that's in a completely different organisation's example. It was beneficial to really ask the people we work with, so people can relate to what it really does mean to them and our organisation or our system. We, on the back of that, we summarised it and put it in a little email, and we intend as a little group to give an update at our next team finance update meeting. We also did use the on the Value Maker Network website, there's this PDF, and we attached that as well, which I will just share. And this is like obviously more generic and not specific to our organisation, and it says what a value maker is. So high level, someone who's passionate about NHS and NHS finance, someone who's committed to making a difference, a champion of staff development, someone who spreads the work and messages of FFF. And you can see it sort of gives you more information and where people can go. But just in our organisation and our system, the real sort of breadth of examples given, and the level of staff as well, from Wyoming, who is a student, to Michelle, who's a manager in quite a niche area of income. Has anybody got any questions on what a value maker is, or how they perhaps promote within their organisation or whether that is useful to help promote. Lauren.
Hi, Amy. I'm very new as a value maker, so I joined up a few months ago, and I think I'm the only one for CFT, so quite different to some of the other trusts here. Just wondering how you guys like integrate the role with your teams, because obviously I work in my own team within the finance department, and I don't want to kind of silo any developments around that team. How do you kind of feed in and feed out with your other teams? What does that look like?
It's a really good question, and to be honest, it's completely new for us, and we're trying to work as a system, so that's actually you and I as well. We have recently set up a system value maker meeting, but when I say recently, we've had one, so don't be under the illusion that we have all of this sorted. And what we hope is to answer those questions that come out of that meeting, and we're going to do it like bi-monthly and have all 3 organisations within our system. So our first meeting concentrated on what a value maker is, and before we could sort of promote the value maker network, we really wanted to understand what it does actually mean to us, and kind of grow from there really. So I think in answer to your question, probably the value maker meeting that you will get invited to the next one, we will get that answer out of there and probably feed it back through our teams by various communication methods.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if there are no questions on that, Megan, your One NHS Finance Programme update.
Thanks, Amy. So just a quick update from me, just so you guys are aware of all the things that are going on with us centrally. Event season has started again. So this week we've had 4 different events running, so it's all go over here. But if you head over to our events page on our website, you'll see that over the next couple of months, we've got lots of different types of events. There's wellbeing webinars that cover things like guided meditation, resilience, burnout. There's a session on menopause coming up, which is going to be really interesting. We've got various showcase sessions, and that's basically where we're plucking out good work from all of our different work streams. So there's ones on innovation, ones on FACE, some on accreditation, and also some on the staff survey. So there's something that's going to be happening regularly now going forward. So we noticed that we're doing all this great work and we haven't been sharing it well enough. So we're now trying to pull everything out and do sessions on it. Then obviously we've got the Value Maker annual conference coming up. That's going to take place on the 24th of November in London. There's a face-to-face event going on, but we're also live streaming it online. So if you guys would like to come along, you can book onto both either the online or the face-to-face event via our website as well. In the face-to-face event, there you get a little bit more when you attend in person. We've got to have a big exhibition over lunchtime with all of the different networks and programs being promoted by people who are involved in them. We've also got HFMA coming along, SDN, and a couple of others, so that would be quite a good networking opportunity. Throughout the Value Maker Annual Conference, we've always got the annual awards taking place. The opportunity to nominate your colleagues closes on the 9th of October, so you've got a couple of weeks. And the nomination process is really simple. If you just go to we'll send the link round, but there's a awards page on our website, and on there's a sort of document that talks you through how to nominate a colleague. It's basically just an MS Teams form, and you click which award you are nominating them for and why. And there's a couple of pointers on the type of things you can say, so it's quite straightforward. If you're not aware, the different awards, we've got 6 awards this year. So we've got one for finance excellence, which is someone with sort of who's been committed to professional growth and contributing to the team's development. We've got a champion of change, so this one sort of links into innovative ways of working, and that doesn't need to be a massive new way of working. It can be quite small things that a colleague's done to help the team work more efficiently. We've obviously got we've got the team player, which is just kind of speaks for itself. Someone who's a team player works well with the team. We've got an EDI award, so that would be someone who's sort of gone above and beyond to make sure that your team's inclusive. And finance education, that links to our FACE network, so that's someone who has gone out their way to make sure that the relationship between clinical and finance colleagues is good and working well. And those awards are for anyone and everyone, so it doesn't matter on band. It's just someone that you think stood out to you this year. And then finally, we've got the Rising Star Award. So this is for colleagues band 2 to 5, and it's specifically for someone who's really stood out and you think, oh, they're going to sort of go far in their career. So we've got more information on all of those, which I'll ask Becky to send you the links to all of them, so it's nice and easy for you to access and have a read. But it's just a great way to recognise your colleagues. So please do put in a nomination. It will only take about 5 minutes. What else have we got going on? So the Breaking Diversity Barriers programme. So this is for colleagues from protected characteristics in band 7 to 8B. It's one of our development programmes. Applications are closing for this at the end of the month. So if you qualify and would be interested in attending, or if you know of someone in your organisation that you think would benefit, please do promote that. We can also send you the link to the page of this programme on our website, so nice and easy to just read a bit more about it and what you can get from attending. We have got a National Inclusion Conference coming up. It's online on MS Teams, and we do run these twice a year. We do different focus points when we do them, and this one we're looking to run it on around disabilities and being more inclusive. And throughout that, we are looking for organisations to come and talk about sort of their inclusive, how their organisation's inclusive, if there's any good work going on or any new ways of working that people have found that have become more inclusive. So this is a bit of a call out to you guys. If you know anything going on that you think would be good to share, please do let us know and we can pop you on the agenda. Following that, we've just launched 2 new networks. One is a disabilities network nationally, and another is a national rainbow network. They are in their infancy, so we're just sort of working out what we want to do with them. But they're running on a bi-monthly basis for an hour. So if you're interested in getting involved with that, you can sign up via our website. But again, we'll send you some links for those so you can have a little look about what they're all about. Sorry, I know I'm just throwing a lot of information at you. This is my last point. If you haven't already, or you don't know, at the moment we're running an online conversation about shaping the future for One NHS Finance. So in 2020 we ran a conversation like this, which helped move us from just Future Focus Finance to the new One NHS Finance with the 3 streams. And we asked everyone, what do you want from us? What do you think needs changing within the NHS and things like that? So this one is just a bit of a temperature check, see how you feel we're doing. Is there anything we're missing? Is there anything you'd like to change? I'll just share my screen quickly with you. So this platform is completely anonymous. So you create a login and you come to this page, and these boxes here are the ideas that people have submitted. So there's lots of different stuff you can have a read through. You can I agree or I disagree on all the points. You can also comment, so there's conversations going on the pages as well, so you just leave a comment. Again, completely anonymous, but what we're going to do with this once it closes, which is in a couple of weeks on the 29th of September, is we'll then collate all this information and it will help us make our programme more suitable and beneficial for you guys. So if you haven't already had a look, please do head over, even if it's just to have a little read of what the conversation is. That'd be great. I think Lauren's got her hand up.
Don't think anyone's got their hand up.
Oh, I got a little thing come up saying Lauren's hands up. But anyway, that was the end of my presentation.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? There's loads going on. I was just wondering, would it be useful for people if you perhaps shared in this chat like some of the links, and then people can kind of pick out the bits?
Yeah, so we'll just send an email around after, and we'll link everything that I've mentioned there. So you could it will just take you to the part of the website where all the further information is.
Yeah, it would definitely be worth the Shaping the Future, what you just flashed up, sharing that with our colleagues. Okay, Charlie, Academy update.
Hi everyone, sorry, my laptop's being a bit slow today. I've just got a notification it needs to be updated. So just bear with me. I'm just going to share my screen quickly and pop some slides up if that's okay. A couple of the bits I was going to cover, Meg has already mentioned, which is good. But I'll circulate the slides as well. So if anyone wants to see them, they can be reminded. There we are. Hopefully everyone can see that. I'll just move you guys out of the corner. So for those who don't know, I'm Charlie Spicer. I'm the Programme Manager of the Southwest Finance Academy and SDN, and also the Midlands Finance Academy and SDN. So I just thought I'd do a sort of a quick update on some of what we're offering, what we've recently been discussing at the Finance Leadership Executive Board, which is the sort of governing board of the Southwest Finance Academy. And just to highlight as well, we do have a Southwest Finance Academy newsletter. It's about sort of 6 to 8 tiles of lots of information. So it has an intro from Sarah Brampton, who's our chair. It covers things that are relevant to the Academy, to 1NHS Finance, to HFMA. It has a list of all the events, Southwest and national as well, that are coming up over the next month. So if you don't receive that and would like to, I'll pop a link in the chat once I've just gone through some of these bits so that you can subscribe to it, because it is quite useful to just kind of get that once a month summary of everything, and especially if there's some kind of Southwest specific bits that you might not maybe see on like those national newsletters. So I shall I'll pop that in the chat where you can subscribe and read the latest one as well. So I don't want to teach people to suck eggs, because I think everyone knows what the Southwest Finance Academy is, but we just had this diagram done, which I think is really helpful just to kind of demonstrate what it is and how it works. So the Southwest Regional Finance Academy is aiming to bring together all delivery bodies and execute the strategy that was based on local research that was done a year or two ago. So obviously we're kind of into that process, and we're always looking for feedback, how to develop and bring out new things. So we try and bring together all the different delivery bodies. So that's obviously the NHS Leadership Academy, HFMA, the SDN, and 1NHS Finance. And then, just in case anyone doesn't know this, I think everyone does, but how it kind of works is we have the national priorities that come from 1NHS Finance. So that's across all of their different 3 work streams, not just the National Finance Academy. So that includes FFF and the Finance Innovation Forum. And then we have the regional priorities. And then we're kind of delivering that through our 3 key work streams, which are developing our people, ED&I, and networking. Happy to expand anymore if anyone has questions, by the way, or wants to ever pop me an email about this. But I think I know most people on the call, so I think everyone kind of knows this, so I won't run through it too much. So I just wanted to touch on actually one of our sponsored offerings. So this is 35 places onto the HFMA coaching service. So we originally had 70 places, and we ran our first cohort last year, which was 35 places. They were all used, which was great. So it was really successful. So this offering is open to anyone working in an NHS finance department in the Southwest, including obviously the regional NHSE team. And the only kind of stipulation is that you obviously must be working in a finance team. There's no kind of banding restrictions or anything like that. So a bit about the coaching. It's an independent coaching service that is dedicated to people working in healthcare. So the HFMA coaches help to create space to build clarity, insights, and tools that you need to boost performance and impact. So these are one-to-one coaching sessions. They're 6 hours online. And what's usually done is you can, once you apply, I'll go through how you do that in a second, but once you apply, you select the coach that you think kind of suits you best. So you get sent a biography of all of them. Which coach do you think suits you best? And then they will work with you and put in 6 1-hour sessions. And during those sessions, you can explore whatever you like, but usually in the intro call, you kind of go through what you're looking for help with. So are you looking to overcome some certain barriers, certain skills that you want to develop, improving performance? Are you looking for tips on work-life balance, anything like that? And then all you need to do to apply is just express your interest to that email address. Again, I'll circulate the slides, and this is all online, so I'll pop a link to the Southwest Finance Academy section on the ONF website with just name, job title, organisation and ICS, and just a quick paragraph via email as to why you're applying, what you're hoping to achieve, so they can kind of send over the coaches that they think might be most relevant. And if possible, just an indication of support from your line manager or finance director. This is only just to make sure that you have the time to fit this in. It's not a necessity. You don't need to include that. So I just thought I would pop that out there. It was really successful last time. And what happens is we have it equally split, obviously, across each ICS. So if a particular ICS hasn't utilised their spaces, we'll reach out to them, see if anyone else wants them. And then if not, we can offer those out to other people. But it was really popular last time. Each ICS had a few people that went on and a couple of people from NHSE as well. So it was really successful last time. And then something else I wanted to mention, actually, which is coming soon. So this is the mentoring scheme, which will be available in the Southwest as well. So the HFMA has always run a mentoring scheme, but it's been really high in demand, especially since the kind of sponsorship program. It's highlighted a demand for additional mentoring outside of that sponsorship program. So HFMA and 1NHS Finance will be working together to deliver this. So at the moment, we're looking to recruit and train additional mentors because there has been a big increase in demand, which is really positive. But obviously, we need to meet that demand. So we're currently looking to expand the team of mentors. And then once we've got sort of more mentors on the roster, this will be opening up to not only members of HFMA, but also any staff who work for an organisation with level 1 accreditation. So this is to provide kind of maximum support for the NHS finance community. Obviously, this will also be, like the coaching, completely free. So we do have a job description for this voluntary role. There are no banding requirements or anything like that to become a mentor. It's not obviously paid for like the coaching service. So this is a voluntary scheme. So what would be great is if I could share the job description maybe with Meg or Becky to circulate. And then just in case you had any colleagues who maybe were interested in either thinking about taking up mentoring once it's kind of launched, it's meant to be launching in November. So anyone who's either interested in taking it up or also anyone who's interested in becoming a mentor, if they could share that, just so that we can ensure the success of the scheme. The more mentors we have means the more people we can help looking for mentoring. And then just 2 more bits on sort of sponsored opportunities that are happening currently. So people have probably heard of this. We've been offering limited places on the HFMA master's level qualification in healthcare, business and finance. And we also have a few spaces available for the MBA top-up programme. So the HFMA master's level qualification is designed specifically for individuals within the UK healthcare sector. It helps to broaden understanding of strategic management, business in the health service, to help address the financial and operational challenges facing the system. So this is available for colleagues who are employed by the NHS in the finance departments within the Southwest. And to be accepted, you just obviously need to demonstrate through your application that you can study at master's level. It is obviously quite a big commitment. And there are no other prerequisites, so applications are definitely encouraged from diverse applicants and diverse roles and bandings, etc. So we do have an intake coming up in October and also March. So you can find out more online. So previously we ran 6 informative sessions that literally covered all the topics within the qualification. If you think it's right for you, how you fit that in with studying, hearing from previous students, etc. And again, straight after this, I can pop a link in the chat to the website for that. And then there's just a little bit on the slide about what support you get. The sessions are done in the evening to fit in with work. There, we can be flexible and allow study breaks for catch up and things like that. So that is another good offering that's ongoing. All these things seem to kick off again in the autumn after the summer holiday. So apologies if you've heard of a couple of these already. And then kind of the last one I wanted to touch on was the bite-sized course we have in NHS Finance. So there are over 1,000 vouchers available for the HFMA bite-sized short course on NHS Finance. So this course provides an overview of how the NHS is structured, how it's financed, how money moves from the taxpayer via the Treasury to frontline services, how it's spent, safeguarded, etc. So this is accredited by CPD Standards Office, and then you do get a certificate of 3 hours of this. So this uptake, we haven't had loads of uptake on this one, but obviously NHS Finance colleagues already know these things if they've been working in their role for a while. So something we are hoping to do is to put this on for introductions for new colleagues to NHS Finance. So integrate it that way, and it's also suitable for clinical colleagues. So it will really help with driving that understanding of finance with clinical colleagues. So in the next couple of weeks, we are going to be reaching out to all organisations and FSD leads as well with kind of a spreadsheet where they can just circulate it, and anyone who's interested can fill out the spreadsheet with just their literally just name, email address, and send that back, and they will have access to the course for 12 months. So happy to send that and include you guys in that communication as well. And then something else I wanted to touch on, which I think quite a few people in this call were either involved with or heard with, was a piece of recruitment and retention work that we did as the South West Finance Academy, and we commissioned. So if you haven't seen this paper, again, I'll pop a link. It is 16 pages long, so I'm not going to read it out because there is a lot within there. But kind of the research concluded the following. So it concluded that kind of traditional recruitment processes are not delivering sufficient suitable candidates to allow finance roles in the Southwest. And it also isn't necessarily delivering on being able to retain a diverse workforce. There is obviously a commitment and a positive attitude within the Southwest to improve ED&I, but there is still a lot of work to do. So within that, there was a review of job descriptions. There was desk-based research and interviews with HRDs and finance directors, and we did have a lot of support from colleagues. And from that, within the research, it concludes about inclusive language on job adverts, what we can do to improve. So there is loads of stuff that will be coming. So something that's really important that I've just popped on the bottom here was about things that have the potential to increase improvement on recruitment and retention within the Southwest. So sort of a focus on what can be achieved with finance teams, and some real good outcome indicators that are very clear, and an expectation of a consistent baseline level of good practice within teams, and a senior leadership commitment to embedding sort of ED&I as business as usual. Sort of a collation of useful resources and successful practices to be shared into an accessible location, which I'll come on to in a second. And then a real need for cross-organisation and system working to achieve greater capacity, coverage and flexibility. So I've just popped a couple of bits on here. So kind of following this work, I would really encourage you to read it. It's actually a really interesting read. But following this work, what are we going to be doing as the Southwest Finance Academy? So we are going to hopefully, and it will be a long process because it will involve some web development, creating a resource hub where everyone can go to access loads of different resources, such as example job adverts, what does inclusive language look like, what not to include. We'll also be developing some guidance to help share capacity and support organisations. So perhaps we'll be kind of coming up with examples, and perhaps organisations can pick 1 or 2 examples that they could embed. We'll also be writing up some case studies. So NHSE have done some really positive work on having EDI sort of buddies during their interview process. So we've got some case studies on those, which will be coming up. And helping, there'll be some national work on this as well, really around advertising methods and attracting the best candidates for roles, because obviously that's not just a finance function thing. That's something we really need to work with nationally and across with HR colleagues. So using sort of more methods than just NHS jobs, so LinkedIn, things like that. We're also more than happy to help review job descriptions and sort of look at, is it clear for people who are non-NHS? So if they're sort of applying to the NHS, is there things like a big use of acronyms that people might not understand? And then also helping to develop roles that provide alternatives to traditional entry and qualification routes. So helping with secondments and things like that, making sure it's really inclusive so that we really are attracting the best candidates to roles, even if they traditionally haven't thought about NHS finance as a career. So lots going on in there. As I said, happy to share more where you can find out more. But if I read the research out verbatim, we'd be here for ages. So I'll pop that in the chat. And then something which I can't remember if Meg did mention, but something obviously we will be doing as the Finance Academy is helping to roll out the talent management strategy. So this has been published online. And regions are currently just going through the best options to help support roll this out. So I will pop again a link to the talent management strategy and what that covers. So it covers sort of 4 groups that are important within NHS finance talent management. So the first group is around individuals where they don't necessarily have a desire to move up the banding structure, but are dedicated to wanting to develop their own role. You've got those who do have a desire to progress. Then the third one is those who have a desire to progress and quickly really want to move high up the ladder, sort of those deputy CFO positions. And then the fourth one is around long-standing members of the finance department that are starting to retire and things like that. So there's loads of things covered within that, and it goes through what the strategy aims to do at a organisation, system and regional level. So talent management conversations, all of that. There's loads within that, so I'll pop a link to the strategy. But once that's rolled out, I'm sure either me or Meg and I's colleague Grace can come along and talk about what that really means. But just to say, the strategy has been launched, but rolling that out is something that's still being worked on and discussed. And then the last kind of bits, I won't necessarily read these out, but I just wanted to run through that the South West Finance Academy has helped to support colleagues submit innovation. So recently the process for submitting to the Finance Innovation Forum has been simplified. So this should hopefully encourage colleagues to submit more innovations. But there's some real positive examples on the screen. So we've got 2 there from GWH. So you've got one which is about developing month-end packs. So there was a big FAQs things that pack that they created so that they could present that to the CFO, which offered an overview of the trust's financial position. They also did something around central income to specialties to help facilitate the understanding and link between income and activity. You've got Royal Cornwall as well. So the finance team made training material available by a dedicated SharePoint page, which was really useful and accessible for all. And then Somerset ICB have got one there as well, which was they automated costing mapping using a local costing manual and a Python app, which was developed by the team. So once I send these slides out, you can hover over them and go to read them if you are interested in more. And then Meg touched on the Breaking Diversity Barriers programme and also the Shape the Future of NHS Finance. This is something we're really pushing as a region as well, because, sorry, just go back to that. because obviously we want to make sure that we're developing the best things for the region. So the more people that comment, upvote ideas, the better. And then just the last one, which is sort of the future plans that we have. So we are supporting all organisations in the Southwest to become level 1 accredited by December, and also supporting 50% of organisations to go on to the level 2 by mid next year. We are rolling out some equality, diversity and inclusion training. We are supporting staff with wellbeing in the workplace, promoting NHS finance as a career. So we've just got the list through schools and universities to reach out to, helping more submissions to the Innovation Forum, the rollout of the talent management strategy, the free mentoring scheme, qualifications, and more work shadowing opportunities and secondment opportunities. And then I've just popped on screen where you can subscribe to the newsletter, read about different development opportunities, so all those bits I've mentioned today, and where to stay in touch. So follow on Twitter and things like that. But I can pop that all in the chat anyway. So those were all the bits I wanted to run through. Appreciate that was a lot, but I wasn't sure how up to speed some people on the call may or may not be. So apologies if people have heard a few of those things, but those are kind of the main things that we're working on across the autumn. Happy for any questions. I'll pop my email in the chat as well if anyone wants to reach out, not online, and I'll just, before we leave, I'll make sure I pop all those bits I mentioned in the chat. But hopefully that was helpful to some colleagues on the call who might not have heard of all of that.
Thank you. I've certainly not heard of all of that. Yeah, brilliant. It was impressive how you whistled through it all in the time. That was a lot. So I think, yeah, receiving the slides probably be beneficial for most people to perhaps take out the bits they want and then share with their team.
Yeah, definitely. I'll share that, and I'll also share all of those kind of sponsored opportunities are online, but I think something that is really good is that newsletter, because this is kind of summarized each month really quickly in a couple of sentences, so it helps people keep up to date. But yeah, I'll definitely get those slides circulated for colleagues if they want to share them with other colleagues as well, if there's anything they might be interested in.
Lovely, thank you. Yeah, between you and Megan, there's a lot going on. Is there any other business? Is there anything that anybody wants to raise today? No? Okay, well, thank you everybody, and I'm sure Megan will be in touch with putting together the next meeting.
Thanks, Amy.
Yeah, thank you very much. Bye.
Yes, bye.
Thanks everyone. Bye.